That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy two. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted it close to town, with a picture window overlooking a yard. And you found it. Now, when you sit down to dinner, you've got front row seats too. Your neighbor's daily pickleball game. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
KCFX HD4 Harrisonville, K279PI Kansas City, 103.7 FM. Sports Radio 810 WHB, Kansas City.
America's largest all-sports radio station presents the #1 motorsports show for over 2 decades, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod-In Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the racing boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jay running the show back there at Sports Radio 810 WHB. Todd running the show here at Racing Boys RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network, and Kirk Elliott, my partner for 25 years. Kirk, how you been?
I'm recovering. I'll just put it that way.
Why are you recovering?
I got back from the Chili Bowl and caught this nasty cold, and I got over it in about 3 days. And then there's been a couple of other things I won't get into, but I know we've all, we're all getting older here.
Right.
We're getting to be old men here, so we're struggling a little bit, but, we're getting through it.
Hey.
All of us.
I'm sorry I let you down on Monday.
Well, I mean,
on Tuesday.
You're fighting your own battles
We're all
right now.
sick.
Right. Yeah.
You weren't here with us on Tuesday. We had the show on Tuesday instead of Monday because, federal holiday, Inauguration Day. We didn't
Martin
think
Luther
anybody
King
would be
Day.
tuned in, so we postponed it a day. And it was just Todd and me. And so we
held the fort down and everything was fine.
Yeah, everything was cool.
I tell you what, Kirk sounds just like Scotty Cook. If you listen to our interview, I cut out a lot of
Scotty was struggling too, wasn't he?
I cut out a lot of Scotty's coughs and stuff because he had so much. I'm like, how did Kirk Elliott get the cold through the telephone from Kirk, Scotty
Somehow
Cook?
it happened.
But Kirk would sound just like Scotty Cook.
Yeah.
Just
He did?
Cough, that real deep cough and
I feel fine right now. It's just the after effects of it all that I'm
just so you
trying
know,
to clear out of my system.
I got sick on the first day down there.
You sure did.
You did.
Yeah.
And you made it back. The Expo Center is no place to be if you're sick.
Yeah, if you're under the weather, it's not fun down there.
To be honest with you, I've got some issues going on with me right now.
Well, we'll get you straightened out.
Yep.
Well, we got you at least we got you in, we got you going, we know everything.
You're looking good today.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hopeful that everything will be all right today. And Kirk, we need to talk about Kyle Larson winning the Chili Bowl.
Man.
Yes, I guess we do need to talk about that. Did he get lucky, or is it just skill? I think if you're great like Kyle Larson is, you put yourself in great situations. But to draw the #1 pill for the pole shuffle, I think that's luck. I think that is. And to win Monday night's preliminary feature race when he needed a yellow flag for that to happen, because there's no question that Shane Golobic was going to win that race had that last yellow not come out. So he put himself in great position, Scott.
Dason Pursley gave him a hell of a run, though, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
And had Dason Pursley not run out of fuel during the pole shuffle,
he might have been on the pole.
Because he came from the first pair of the pole shuffle and worked his way up through 9 rounds to get himself into position to challenge Kyle Larson for the pole. And I think he would have won the pole, because Dazen had been posting 11-second lap times. Everybody else was in the 12s. I don't think there's any doubt that Pursley would have grabbed the pole away from Larson had he chanced to race with him.
Hey,
that's what I think.
To be honest with you, any time that Kyle Larson starts on the pole,
Everybody's at
Forget
a
it.
disadvantage.
it's all over.
Everybody's at a disadvantage at that point.
Because he's the greatest driver in American history right now.
Yeah.
And I think that he's anytime that you put him on the pole, it's like in cup racing. Anytime that he's on the pole,
Good
I
luck.
think that he's going
But
to
it
win
was
the
not
race.
a safe. It was not a clean sail to the checkered flag for
By any
Kyle.
means.
It was anything but that. He crashed into a Brennan Crouch's car after he stalled. and
Almost
got
stalled
hit
it
by
out.
Justin Grant, and he did stall it out, and somehow it refired. He'll talk about that in that interview that we'll play here in a couple of minutes. And then he ramps the wall on the front straightaway.
Crazy.
And somehow he didn't flip it. He said, "I thought I was going to flip it."
It looked
And
like he was
kept
going
it
to.
going, but the banner that was already down on the racetrack, by the way, before Larson hit it, the debris on the track with the banner brought out the yellow. There would have been no yellow flag had the banner not been drawn on the ground. But I know a lot of people are blaming Kyle Larson for causing the yellow, but I don't think he would.
Hey.
I don't think he should have been put at the back because he didn't bring that banner down. He was already down on the racetrack.
Hey, listen, they threw the caution because Kyle Larson was up on the wall.
No, they threw the caution because the banner had been dragged down onto the racetrack. That's why they threw the caution. And the banner was already down on the racetrack when Larson ramped the wall.
Yeah, there's a video.
There's video proof of that. Matter of fact, the banner was already down before Dazen Pursley hit the wall. So I'm glad that they didn't penalize any driver for bringing that banner down. That's a track issue.
Yeah, Scotty Cook talks about that in the second part of our interview with him today. We got a two-parter, and he talks about how he saw the banner already coming down, and he said the same thing. It'd been a shame if they would have penalized him for that because it really wasn't his doing, So.
Well, in my eyes, I think that they threw the caution because of him crawling up on the wall.
No, I disagree with that. I don't think that's why because if that banner had not been down on the racetrack, Larson kept his car going. There would have been no reason to throw a caution at that point because he kept the car going. They threw the yellow because the banner was on the racetrack. As simple as that.
I don't
have any issue.
Respectfully disagree with
Well,
you.
we'll disagree, but I just don't think penalizing any driver for bringing that banner down would have been appropriate in this case. I think the calls were properly made here, and Kyle Larson earned his third Chili Bowl victory, in my opinion. Did he get lucky? Yeah, he did a couple of times. But sometimes you make your own luck, and when he was presented with that, he didn't give a. It's kind of like the Kansas City Chiefs, why they won 3 Super Bowls.
Here's the replay
The
right
reason
here.
why
what
they
we're
win
looking
3
at.
Super Bowls is because they don't turn the ball over when it matters the most.
See that flat that thing was already down when he hit that wall.
Yeah, it was.
If you look at that, you'll see that again in this replay. When he goes up on this wall, watch the replay right here. We appreciate Flow Racing allowing us to play the replay off of YouTube here. But see
that banner was already down on the racetrack.
they were going to
when he
have
hit
to
the
call
wall.
that flag. That they were going to have to pull the
The
yellow
infield
out.
camera proves it.
But I just know that they're going to probably
It
have.
wasn't all the way down off the wall.
No.
At that point, Kirk.
But they called that. They were already under
Keep
yellow.
an eye on that and watch that when.
No, but they went to yellow though. See
Yeah, but they threw the yellow flag
right there.
for that banner.
See, the yellow's
that needed
already
to
out.
be taken off the racetrack.
The yellow's out already. He goes up there to get up and to see what that stuff is, but the banner's down. They've already called the yellow flag, so I don't know. But
I don't have any issue with the calls that were made there.
see the yellow right there. But
Back that up, Todd.
We're looking at it. Those of you who are watching on racingboys.com, Facebook, and YouTube will be able to see the courtesy of Flow Racing. the video.
So what you're seeing here is him
It's all
coming
good.
into it. They're under green there, and then the yellow comes out.
I thought that
So to me, there's no controversy here. And anybody who blows it up as a controversy, I just think is not well-founded here.
I think Dason Pursley, he gave him a
did.
heck of a run, didn't he?
He threw a
Yeah,
couple of
that-
sliders at him. We're going to hear from Dason Pursley here, too. Why don't we get into this interview with
Kyle
Larson, who I talked to after the races on Saturday night down at the Tulsa Expo Center. And here it is right now. Kyle Larson following his third Chili Bowl victory last Saturday night.
Congratulations on the win. Just how important was it on the? You know, you're coming in tonight. You're going to be on the front row. Did it make any difference on the pole or outside front row?
Absolutely. Made a big difference being on the pole rather than outside pole. I think, like, had Dason not run out of fuel in the pole shuffle thing, he's probably going to beat me in qualifying, and then it's just a fight from there, you know? You don't really know how the race is going to play out. It could look totally different. So, yeah, I just got a lot of good fortune tonight, and but you have to be there to take advantage of the good fortune, which we were.
Talk about those close calls. You got into the one car and the wreck, and then climbing the wall one time.
Yeah, no, it was, it got sketchy there in traffic. Grant kind of wrecked the crouch, had him turn sideways in front of me. I had nowhere to go and just ran over the top of him, and engine stalled midair, and when I landed, it thankfully refired. So that was good. And then, then we were catching traffic again. I made a big mistake off of 4 and climbed up the front stretch wall and thought I was going to flip. But thankfully, he ripped the banner down and, caused a yellow and had clean track to the end. So it worked out in my favor really multiple times tonight.
What made you confident running the high side was the place to be?
Running the shootout and getting those few laps where I did get to nail the top, it gave me a lot of confidence that the track prep would be similar. I feel like for the last handful of years, they do kind of allow it to get ramped up the wall like that, but nobody's really ran that line. And then the shootout, I kind of stumbled into it, and then was hoping the track could get that way here because I felt like I'd be really comfortable doing it. So, yeah, I was able to get comfortable. I knew Dason was probably running the same line behind me because he got comfortable doing it at the shootout as well. And, yeah, I could just make less mistakes up there.
What did you see when he kind of threw a slider on you there? What did you see?
Yeah, I mean, I saw him coming, but I knew I was going to clear him pretty easily, so I wasn't too worried. I didn't want to just see him and get nervous and throttle up too much and then just pressure myself into a mistake on exit and allow him to build another run. So just stayed calm. And, I felt like I executed good restarts. It paid off.
It's your third Chili Bowl. What's this one mean compared to the other two?
Yeah, they all mean a lot, right? Like, Chili Bowl is a big, big deal, and winning that first one really kind of changed my career, I feel like, mentally helped me become stronger. It was just such a mountain to finally, break through mentally, and I feel like since then I just have a lot less nerves at these races, and it allows me to execute without making as many mistakes. So yeah, then the second one here was great because we didn't have a good car, but was able to play defense really well and just win. And then tonight the track was such a challenge just to run laps by yourself. That when you can conquer 40 laps on a track like that, it feels great too. And we were really bad early in the week as well, so I felt like we made huge improvements tonight on our race car, and that's probably what I'll remember from this one also.
You led every lap of the Knoxville Nationals. You led every lap of the Chili Bowl. How about that accomplishment?
Yeah, it's definitely cool. I don't know. It's neat. Like I like starting the pole. I feel like when you can lead more laps, you just have more confidence in your ability to make the right decisions and when to move around and stuff. So but you have to set yourself up, all week to be in that position. So yeah, you have to. Like if I don't win on Monday night, like I'm probably not winning tonight, or there's a good possibility I'm not winning. So I knew how important that one position was on Monday, and thankfully I was able to go out there and get it and set myself up for tonight.
You said you weren't happy after the Race of Champions on Monday night. Then you win the feature event. That was a big turnaround, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we weren't any better. We were probably worse in the prelim main. But I feel like, we made our car a lot better from Monday to Friday with Sunshine. I thought he did a really good job last night, and that kind of gave me more confidence that we would be a little bit more competitive, but still didn't know, because I hadn't felt it myself. But when we got out there for the pole shuffle hot laps, I felt way different and much better, where I could carry more throttle with more of a balance. So I felt like, if I could just, I was going to start on the front row, so I felt like I was going to have a good opportunity, I guess, when we got to the feature.
Jeff was here. What did he say to you?
Yeah, he was pumped. So, that was great to have, him here as a Grand Marshal, and, I'll get to, thankfully he's here too, so I can travel home with him, which is nice. And he's he's a big dirt fan. Obviously, he's come from, this is his original background, and, big supporter of myself and Alex and now Corey Day. So to have him here and in person supporting us means a lot.
He thought he ripped that banner down, didn't he?
He
thought
did.
he ripped the banner down, but he didn't rip that banner down. So, and he even questioned, he thought in his own mind that he might be put at the back at that. He thought that.
I think that he should have been put to the back, to be honest
I
with
disagree.
you.
You and me aren't together on this one. No, I think the proper call was made. That was not something that flew off his race car. That was a track issue. That I don't think those banners should be where they are, tied up down there. Now, if the NOS Energy Drink wants to put some decals up on the wall, that would probably be the better thing to do than tie up banners down there that can easily be drugged down. So that's not Kyle Larson's fault that banner was even there. So I disagree with that. I think the proper calls were made here, and he earned that victory.
Were you a little disappointed in Christopher Bell, his performance? He ended up starting 12th, and he ended up running 10th.
Yeah, and one spot out of winning his preliminary feature, which meant he had to run he finished third in his Thursday night prelim, one spot out of a top 2 automatic transfer. So he had to come out of the B main and start way too far back. And if you noticed, any driver that had to come out of the B main had trouble working their way up through the field. The only guy that was really able to do so was Buddy Kofoid, but we didn't see a lot of movers coming from the back of the pack in that A main on Saturday night to the front.
Buddy Kofoid ended up starting 14th, and he ended up running 6th.
Yeah, so he was the biggest mover. And Buddy Kofoid, if you remember on his preliminary night on Tuesday night, he got put into the wall in his qualifier race. I mean, he got bombed.
Were you a little disappointed in Corey Day's performance? He started 15th, and he ended up running 11th.
Yeah, another driver that finished third in his preliminary feature, one spot out of an automatic transfer, and he, like Christopher Bell, had to come from the B main. And it was really tough working your way up through the field from the B main in this race. So I think he was in the same position as C. Bell, just having, finished one spot out of an automatic transfer and had to come out of the B main. It made it really tough.
It was good to see Frank Flood finally making his first Chili Bowl appearance, wasn't it?
That was cool. Boy, if anybody deserves to
That's
challenge for a driller, it's Frank Flood.
I mean, we all made our picks before on Monday's show, but Frank Flood was who that's who I would have been. Him and Blake Hahn are the guys who I'd root for. If they're in the A main, that's who I'm pulling for. But, I picked Pursley, and man, there for a minute, I thought I had it. I thought for sure he was going to, when Larson went up there and stalled it, I thought this is the chance, with Pursley. Kirk had picked Tanner. Didn't you pick Tanner Thorson?
He had mechanical issues, had to drop out.
And then Scott, I believe, had Logan Seavey for his pick.
I did.
So,
you want to hear from Dason Pursley
yes,
before we go to break? We're going to hear from Shane Golobic a little bit later on in the show. You want to squeeze this in before the break, Todd?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's do it. Dason Pursley following his second place finish last Saturday night at the Chili Bowl. We'll get it fixed here. Dason Pursley. I pushed the wrong button. Okay, here we go. Dason Pursley.
The 1 and 3 and 4 I did. I felt like 1 and 2 was just kind of just to pressure him into sort of something. Because once Kyle builds a rhythm, he's very hard to beat. So just wanted to show him a nose in 1 and 2 to see if I could do anything. And then I got off of 2 so good, I was like, okay, we'll try again in 3 and 4. And in 3 and 4, I felt like I got to the center really good, started sliding across the slick, and I was like, oh, we got through there pretty good too. And then I was like, it's going to be close if he drives around me. I didn't hear him, and then all of a sudden he just drove right by me. So just came up a little bit short, and then I started trying to race him very hard and try to catch up to him, and made a mistake, and then that was kind of all she wrote there.
You were headed to the pole. That pole shuffled. You ran a lot of laps there. Not enough fuel, huh?
Yeah, not enough fuel, unfortunately. So that's how it goes. I feel like there's, probably going to be a rule or somehow in that, but it's like one of those things with even like the banner today with Kyle in the race, like it probably will never happen again in the whole rule book. So it's just one of those things that happens one time and you make everyone think about it. But who really knows what that may look like? But unfortunately, the circumstances this year, we ran out of fuel and we didn't get a shot at the pole. And the caution came out when the banner came off, and the luck just wasn't on our side.
During the course of the race, you fell behind Landon Brooks, then got back around him. Talk about those moments.
Honestly, I felt like it's like so easy to mess up on those tracks. Like you can rip one really good lap and you're about a straightaway ahead, and then you rip one bad corner and you're a straightaway behind. Like it's just very, very tricky, and I felt like I made probably 2 bad laps there that let Landon start racing with me, and he wasn't really running the line that Kyle and I were. So it was just like I'm get to his bumper, and then it was like finally I got to put him away, and then he made one mistake and I was able to do that, and then catch my breath and then try to run down Kyle. And maybe if I don't have to race with Landon there and I'm attacking on Kyle, I can maybe do something. But once again, so much unknowns in this building, and that's what makes it hard to win.
How much did the track change during the course of the 40 laps?
Not really that much. I felt like they didn't do that much track prep as what they're intending to with the 40 laps, and we moved up to the top fairly quick. I felt like Landon was like the first one up there on like lap maybe 4 all the way around. So it was good. I thought we could maybe even use 55 laps there. I know Kyle and I didn't try the bottom at all, but I felt like if we talked to Shane a little bit on the ride up here that he said it wasn't going to be close to taking rubber if it was 55 laps. So maybe we can get back to something like that, and we can show people that it's meant to be 55 laps like the tradition once held. And in my opinion, long races are fun and more enjoyable. So hopefully we get to that one day.
There he is, Dason Pursley, who had he pulled this off would have been one of the greatest stories ever at the Chili Bowl. Oklahoma guy came back from that terrible crash 3 years ago. If he'd have won that race, Scott, they'd have blown the roof off the place.
He was lobbying for 55 laps, wasn't he?
He wants it back, doesn't he?
Right.
Well, if you remember a year ago, he came from the D main to 4th on a rubber down racetrack. And he put on a show a year ago, coming from the D main.
Listen, Dason Pursley is a hell of a race car driver.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
And he's not going to be racing full-time in the midgets this year because he's going full-time with the High Limit Series with Buick Motorsports, driving the 13 for the High Limit Series. But I think one day, Dason Pursley, he's going to be in a good midget at the Chili Bowl for some time to come. With his performance down there, he's going to win this race someday, and when he does, I think it's going to rank right up there. When Rico and some of these other guys won, it's going to be huge. Remember when Brian Clausen won the race, how big that was? It's going to be like that. He came that close, Scott, from doing that.
Right. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Track Talk is brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. Shane Golobic is going to join us next here on mostly our Track Talk. We'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned.
Track Talk. Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products since 1989.
4.5 minutes, gentlemen.
Products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply is an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Winter storms can be tough on your roof. Heavy snow, ice dams, and high winds can cause damage you might not even see. At Pyramid Roofing, they've got you covered. Whether it's a small repair or a full replacement, Their expert team will make sure your roof is ready to protect your home. Call Pyramid Roofing today, 816-966-1101, or visit pyramidroofingkc.com. Don't settle for just any roof company. Your home deserves the best. Pyramid Roofing.
Hey Kansas City, it's Pete Sweeney. When it comes to your home, the right game plan is everything. Whether you're looking to buy a new home or refinance your current home, Heartland Financial and Mortgage is here to make the process simple and smooth. They're a local company you can trust, offering great rates and top-notch service. The Fed just lowered rates, and the time to buy or refinance is now. Visit hfmkc.com to get started. Heartland Financial and Mortgage, putting people first.
Kansas City's #1 GM dealer is Robert Brogdon's Olathe Buick GMC, and they're here to say yes. Yes to savings up to $11,277 on new GMC models. Yes to discounts up to $6,777 on new Buick models. Yes to financing as low as 0% for 60 months. And yes, they've got the best selection with over 450 vehicles in stock. Visit Robert Brogdon's Olathe Buick GMC at I-35 in Santa Fe or shop online at robertbrogdon.com. Includes all incentives and rebates available. Financing for qualified buyers through GMF. See dealer for details.
The road to New Orleans continues with Championship Sunday on Sports Radio 810 WHB.
It's caught! Hardman caught the ball! The Chiefs have won!
Chiefs versus Bills. Sunday at 5:30 with Kevin Harlan and Devin McCourty on the call from Westwood One.
The Chiefs are back-to-back Super Bowl champions.
Your home of the NFL playoffs and Super Bowl 59. Sports Radio 810 WHB.
At Adams Toyota in Lee Summit, for the first time in years, we have the inventory you've been looking for. Camrys, Tundras, Corollas, and even hard-to-find Priuses in stock or on the way. The new 2025 Tacomas are on the lot, and the new body-style Land Cruiser is available. Want a new hybrid super high-mileage RAV4? We have them. All new Toyotas have 2 years free maintenance and nationwide lifetime powertrain warranty. With inventory ready to go, there's no better place to shop, buy, and experience than Adams Toyota. Visit us today in Lee Summit, always open 24/7 at adamstoyota.com.
Winter is here. Plan now to keep those bugs out with Augustine Services. Now is the time to establish and or maintain a barrier around your house. Don't let it break down. Augustine has you covered. Augustine Services has been a family-owned local business since 1966. Call Augustine Services today at 913-359-8627 or find them online at augustineexterminators.com. That's 913-359-8627. Online at augustineexterminators.com.
1 minute.
ICON is seeking healthy, non-smoking men and women ages 18 to 55 to participate in a clinical research study at our facility in Lenexa, Kansas. Volunteers must be available for one stay of 13 nights and one follow-up visit. Qualified participants may receive compensation up to $7,500 for time and travel. Call ICON today at 913-210-5900. That's 913-210-5900.
For the past 60 years, Kansas City has trusted City Rent-A-Truck for all their work truck needs. Whether you're tackling a construction project, working on power lines, or just need to transport your crew, we have a reliable fleet of work-ready, on-demand vehicles to keep you moving. Flatbeds, bucket trucks, pickups, dump trucks, service bodies, and much more. We offer the widest selection of vocational vehicles in the industry. Visit us today at cityrentatruck.com.
Welcome back. It's Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jay running the show back there at Sports Radio 810. Todd running the show here at RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network.
We had somebody send us a message, said, it's cold in Florida. What do you say, 40?
Scott says it's cold in Florida, and Marvin is in Daytona.
It's 49 degrees in Daytona. 44 in Orlando. You know what it is in Phoenix right now? 44 degrees in Phoenix.
That's not cool, man.
That's not really cool.
When we were in California last week, Oceanside, California was 30 degrees when I woke up at 30
That's
degrees.
Too cold.
They were freaking out there, guys.
Hey,
it's 40 in San Antonio, 43 in Houston, and 36 in Dallas.
You didn't go up and check out the fire.
Nah, they were pretty far up.
Right.
have to drive quite a ways from where we landed in San Diego, and when you're in San Diego, you're closer to Mexico than you are to
right.
You're right there. So, but it was chilly in the mornings when the sun wasn't up, and then as soon as that sun went down, But there were people swimming in that water, Scott, and that water was 55 degrees. It was cold.
Hey,
real cold.
Todd, the old guitar player from Whitesnake passed away.
Yeah, he
didn't
sure
he?
did. John Sykes. He
Yeah.
was 65 years old, battling cancer.
Right.
So
it's a terrible disease.
It is. It sucks. It does suck. But I know that everybody in Florida. I actually saw the iguana warnings this morning and yesterday. They post the iguanas, so in case you're walking down the sidewalks, those things are in the trees and they fall out and hit you in the head.
He also played with Thin Lizzy, didn't he?
Yeah, you're right. He was actually original Thin Lizzy not original, but with Thin Lizzy. Yep.
Hey,
right.
but Thin Lizzy back in the day was a pretty big rock band, weren't they?
That was back in you and Kirk stages, right?
Right.
I was a little bit younger. When I came along, they were already kind of.
Do you remember Thin Lizzy?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd forgotten about
Boys
him till
back
you
in
just brought
town?
him up.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I remember that. Well, Shane Golobic played a big role at this year's Chili Bowl. Not only was he the third-place finisher, but he had a hand in 3 of the top 5 finishers, turning the wrenches for all the cars at Matt Wood Racing. We had Shane Golobic, who came away with that podium finish on Saturday night on our Mostly Motorsports show earlier this week. Let's take a listen. Shane, I know you didn't win the race, but congratulations on a pretty successful week for Matt Wood Racing.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was definitely an awesome week for our team. To take 3 of the top 5 spots in the Chili Bowl in an event that big is something to definitely be proud of, and we're definitely thankful that it all went well. And I'm just happy to do a good job for Matt. He's always been a huge supporter of midget racing, and he loves racing midgets. So it felt really good to have a good week for him.
Let's go back to Monday night. Kyle Larson's already admitted that had he not won on Monday night, he wouldn't be holding the big driller on Saturday night. That late yellow flag on Monday night, you'd have walked out of there with the victory on Monday night. Just kind of talk about your Monday night and the finish of that race where Larson just got you there.
Yeah, that was tough. That was a tough deal there. I was coming down the backstretch, coming to checkered, thinking I kind of had it in the bag. The car in the back turned over there in 3 and 4 and caused a yellow. So unfortunately, I kind of took the wind out of my sails a little bit there for a second. But yeah, I had to have a green-white checkered with Kyle behind me, and Kyle just did kind of Kyle things, and he was able to make something out of those last couple laps and kind of forced me into a mistake, and he was able to win Monday night. And we were still able to lock in with running second, but yeah, like he said, it makes it a little tougher to try and win the Saturday night feature if you're not one of those feature winners from your prelim night. It's tough to come from outside the first few rows to win the Chili Bowl. So it made it tough, but we were still kind of in contention there at the end on Saturday. Being able to run on the podium is definitely not anything to hang your head on, but yeah, obviously there's always the what ifs and what could have beens.
And Larson draws the number 1 for the pole shuffle. You're back there, 8th or something like that? You're back on the draw on Friday night for the pole shuffle.
Yeah. I drew the 7, which wasn't bad for what was available to me. The best I could have drawn was 6. Drew the 7, but Dayson Persley got going there in the pole shuffle, and kind of the last 2 years, the way they've had that formatted is once you kind of get going in that and start clicking off wins, it's pretty tough for a newcomer coming on the racetrack to beat a guy who's kind of in rhythm and has warm tires and everything. So yeah, we fell to 8th there and had to start the big feature in 8th, and figured it was going to be a tough task because you've got 7 of the best midget teams and racers ahead of you that you got to try and get by to win. And we were able to get by a handful of them, but not quite enough to get the big get the driller on Saturday.
So walk us through the A main on Saturday night. How were you able to get from 8th to 3rd?
I guess just a little bit of patience paid off. It's a long race for kind of what we're used to. It's a little bit longer, at least 40 laps rather than the normal 30. So you just kind of have to make sure that you're patient enough to be there at the end, but also aggressive enough to where you make the most of every opportunity that's presented. So I was able to kind of work my way through slowly, but finally did get to 3rd there with a couple laps to go. And by then it was just too late. I was going to have to bank on a mistake from Kyle and Dayson, or if they would have got to battling real hard, maybe I could have snuck in there, but just kind of ran out of laps. And so I was kind of wishing it was back to the 55 laps like it had been in the past. That might have helped me out a little bit, but yeah, it was 40 laps, same for everybody, and we just didn't get it done. But proud to still pull off a podium. That's the best I've ever finished at the Chili Bowl on Saturday. So it's cool. Very happy for our Mount Wood Racing team and our NOS Energy Drink team for being able to do that. We don't run midgets but once a year, really. It's just at the Chili Bowl. So it's a tough task to show up and try and beat the best in the world in that business.
Let's talk about Landon Brooks and Ryan Bernal. Boy, they've got their own stories to tell. What a Chili Bowl both of those guys had. Landon Brooks winning the Tuesday night preliminary race, and Ryan Bernal the next night having a pretty eventful run, too. What was that like racing your teammates for the 3rd place finish?
Yeah, it was an awesome week for our team. All three of us had really, really good speed all week, and really proud of Landon for getting that win and Ryan for locking in. To have 3 lock-ins was really cool. But yeah, it did present kind of an interesting challenge for me on Saturday. I'm racing against 2 cars that I am also crew chiefing, so that was kind of a first for me. I've been crew chiefing the other cars and working on the other cars for years at Chili Bowl, but this was the first time I've really had to race against them on Saturday in the same vicinity on the racetrack. A lot of times we kind of get spread out through the field, and I don't actually get to race head to head against them. But yeah, on the last lap, I mean, it was me, Ryan, and Landon fighting for that 3rd spot and banging wheels coming down the backstretch, coming to checkered. So it was definitely an interesting feeling, but definitely something to be proud of, and definitely proud of all of our guys. And we've got a good group of just buddies that kind of love racing together, that just head back there and try to do our best against the best in the world. And luckily we were able to have a really good week.
You had 5 cars in all. Were you crew chief on all of them?
Yeah, usually I have my brother to lean on at Chili Bowl, but he wasn't able to make it this year. He just welcomed his first baby boy to the world the Saturday before Chili Bowl started. So he was obviously home with his wife Sabrina, hanging out with the new baby. So usually it's kind of a dual effort between me and him on setting everything up and crew chief and everything. So this year it fell a little bit more on my shoulders, which was tough for sure. But yeah, 5 cars, one car for every prelim night is definitely a lot of work. And then come Saturday, all of our cars were sitting really nice in the standings, so we all were racing about the same time late in the night. So it definitely got a little bit hectic. But all the guys that came and helped us on our team really stepped up and made my job a little bit easier, and it was a great team effort.
Well, Landon on Tuesday night, I think he shocked a lot of people, but what he did, late move there, just talk about Landon Brooks a little bit.
Yeah, Landon's a great young racer, great young kid. I mean, I say kid, I think he's 21 years old, but which I guess in midget racing is on the older side already. But yeah, he's a hard-working guy who honestly, he stepped up a ton this week too, just in helping keep the cars ready and keep them clean, and just doing anything that needed to be done. He doesn't shy away from a little work. So Landon, I mean, he definitely put his name out there even more than it already was. I think anybody in the know in the sprint car world knew who Landon was and knew what kind of talent he had. But it was cool for him to show up on the big stage like that and and get Matt his first win in the building. It's just super cool to be a part of the team and watch all of that unfold. And very proud of Landon, very proud of Ryan, both, and Darren and Colby too. Their weeks didn't quite go as well as the rest of the team, but that wasn't for a lack of effort. It just sometimes in that building things don't always go according to plan, and they just were a victim of that a little bit this year.
Yeah, Kobe Copeland and Darren Pittman drove the other car on Friday night. Hey, Ryan Bernal, I mean, how crazy was that? He was able to make the transfer on Wednesday night, and he called it a monster truck over a car. You know, we are all talking about Kyle Larson hitting Brendan Krause the other night. What Ryan did on Wednesday night was even more so than what Larson did, the jumping a race car and still coming out on the other side.
Yeah, that's Chili Bowl for you. It's some wild, exciting racing, and yeah, I mean the track was every bit blocked as it could possibly be, and luckily he was able to kind of literally monster truck over the like right front of a stopped race car there and continue keep his car running and continue his race. And that's one of those deals where at Chili Bowl sometimes a little luck is your best friend, and luckily he was able to get through there and the car was still in one piece and everything was still good to continue the race. And so yeah, you need a little bit of that luck at Chili Bowl, but then he went ahead and used that luck and capitalized on it and had a great restart there with a couple laps to go and was able to get by Chris Bell to get the transfer spot into the big show. So he did an awesome job.
I mean, this is just absolutely incredible, the finishes you guys got with Matt Wood Racing. What were your expectations coming into the week?
They definitely weren't to have 3 of the top 5 spots on Saturday. I can tell you that. I mean, I'm a realist, and I mean that just doesn't happen. I mean, I think it's only happened a handful of times in the history of Chili Bowl, and it was all with Keith Coons and Pete Willoughby. And it's not something a team from California should have ever been able to do, but to be able to do it is pretty sweet. It definitely exceeded all expectations. I knew going in there we were going to be fast, and I knew we had good race cars, and we're pretty consistently pretty good in that building. But to say that I expected to have a week as good as that would definitely be a lie. So definitely super pleased on how it all went, and just proud of how we all capitalized on every opportunity we had.
How different are the setups on these race cars? I'm sure the other drivers had different driving styles, or was it similar?
Yeah, I mean, definitely have to consider each driver when I'm doing when I'm working on each one. Even just down to driver size in these midgets is a huge thing. We've had like Ryan is close to probably 200 pounds, and then we have Landon, and he's like 140. So a 60-pound difference in a car that weighs 1,000 pounds with that's a big difference. So we definitely have to keep that into consideration, and everybody's driving styles are different. So I would say all the cars are very, very similar in setup, but definitely some little differences here and there to suit each driver's size and driving style.
Shane Golobic, third place finisher. He outran his 2 teammates, Ryan Bernal and Landon Brooks, for that position. But what an incredible performance by Matt Wood Racing at the Chili Bowl this year.
Matt Wood finished 3rd, 4th, and 5th, didn't he?
Yeah. Ryan Bernal, his qualifying night, he ramped up over a car, got himself into position, or he wouldn't have made that final transfer if he hadn't hit that one car when that late yellow came out. Then Landon Brooks, who would have picked Landon Brooks to win a preliminary feature, which he did on Tuesday night? So just an incredible performance by Matt Wood Racing, Golobic, Bernal, and Landon Brooks. Now, the other 2 drivers were Darren Pittman, who raced on Friday night. He had a pretty decent run, didn't get himself as well as these other guys did, and then Kobe Copeland was the other car.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, more Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Jay running the show back there at Sports Radio 810. Todd running the show here at RBN, the Race Boys Broadcasting Network. We'll be back with more. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints.
Talk.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply is...
You got 3 minutes, gentlemen.
How much time are we going to have in the show? Do you know?
To continue to provide a superior...
Let me do some math real quick. I know what time your out is going to be.
Yeah, take your time, bro.
John here, and if you're struggling with sleep apnea like I was, listen up. I couldn't stand my CPAP machine, but then I switched to a custom-fitted oral appliance from Healthy Sleep Midwest. It's about the size of a retainer, and the best part, I'm sleeping better than ever. Deep, restful sleep with more REM. Getting fitted was easy. Plus, they work with your insurance to keep costs low. If you're tired of being tired, visit HealthySleepMidwest.com and schedule your free consultation today. Sleep better, feel better.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation?
Got to have about 13 minutes.
Perfect. Thanks, my man. I appreciate that.
Right.
5.25% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Old Landing, cured my blues.
6.19 APR, FHA, 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit. Additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
All of your favorite football playoff matchups are coming to Sports Radio 810 WHB. There's only one station big enough to bring you championship football. Sports Radio 810 WHB. Your home for all playoff football coverage and Super Bowl 59. Brought to you by Greenlight Dispensary. Make sure to check out greenlightdispensary.com for all premium cannabis products. The best cannabis deals are always at greenlightdispensary.com.
Paid for client portrayal and endorsement. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results, and every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
After my car wreck, there was a lot I didn't know.
I do know. My team knows injury law. We can help you understand all of your legal rights so that you don't get cheated.
DM Law knew what to do and got me $500,000.
Mike's got this. If you've been hurt in a car wreck, call me. I've got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Jeff Montgomery here. If you're a man dealing with symptoms like frequent urination, multiple trips to the bathroom at night, or a weak urine...
All right, your out time is going to be about 56:53. That's when the music is going to hit.
10-4.
Symptoms, which is covered by insurance. As Kansas City's leaders in minimally invasive, non-surgical treatments, I trusted them to help me. Dr. Brown and Dr. Williams are professional, knowledgeable, and put me at ease. If you are experiencing these symptoms, go to miva-medical.com. That's MIVA-medical.com.
This Sunday, Westwood One brings you the NFL Conference Championships. First, it's the NFC title game. The Philadelphia Eagles face the Washington Commanders, and the Buffalo Bills travel to Kansas City to renew their rivalry with the Chiefs. If it's the NFL playoffs, it's on Westwood One.
Commanders, Eagles at 2, followed by Chiefs versus Bills at 5:30.
Brought to you by the CW Farm and Ranch, Adams Toyota, the Big Biscuit, and Missouri Farm Bureau Insurance.
On Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB. Don't forget, hour number 2, you can watch it exclusively on Facebook, YouTube, and RacingBoys.com. Kirk, you want to get the read in for National Sprint Car Hall of Fame Museum?
Yes, sir. Saw Bob Baker and Bill Wright and some other folks down at the Chili Bowl Hall of Fame booth set up. You know, it takes a lot of money to keep things going at the Hall of Fame. They raised a lot of money at the auction down there. And one of the other great fundraisers is the Corvette giveaway that is going on again next year. Beautiful competition yellow Corvette with over 1,000 horsepower. They're going to give this thing away. All you got to do is sign up for it. Go to winacorvette.org. They're going to draw for this 1 week after the Knoxville Nationals, so you got plenty of time to get set up. Of course, the Dennis Holbaugh Suite Tower is going up right now. We're going to see this thing open. It changed the skyline there at Knoxville Raceway with that Dennis Holbaugh Suite Tower. They say it's going to be open, ready to go by the time World of Outlaws open up the season at Knoxville in April. And, of course, a lot of great things in the gift shop at the Hall of Fame. Go to sprintcarstuff.com NationalSprintCar.com. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum open 7 days a week. Check it out whenever you can.
All right. We got Scotty Cook. Right?
Scotty Cook did a great job on the PA down there this weekend. He was joined by, of course, Brian Holbert and Randy Ward and Tony Bachhoven, all sharing the mic time if you're inside the Expo Center. And Scotty Cook did his work down from the infield, which he had a unique perspective of everything that went on. Did a lot of the
He did a great job, didn't he?
I thought he did a great job. Anyway, we had Scotty Cook on our Monday Mostly Motorsports show to talk about the recently completed Chili Bowl. You called a lot of races from down there in the infield. Can you see everything to call the races?
Well, not quite. Excuse me. You can see from where I am, you can see 3 and 4 quite well, and then kind of have to rely on to the video screen when you're looking at what's going on down on the 1 and 2 end. And oftentimes if a car finds trouble or whatnot down on that end, it's a second or two before we can identify who it is, not having any close-up monitors down there. You kind of have to rely on what you're seeing on the video screen, but you just kind of fly by the seat of your britches and you hope for the best.
So what were you thinking when Kyle Larson got up over the top of Brennan Crouch, and then later when he climbed the wall on the front straightaway?
I thought immediately, this is unbelievable for both instances, and then I caught myself and told myself, wait, this isn't unbelievable. This is Kyle Larson. Just when we think we've seen that boy do it all, he'll pull another trick out of his sleeve, and it was a relative walk in the park for 40 laps for him, but besides Dason showing himself to him late, and then a couple of hiccups that about took him out, everything went relatively well for him. It was kind of interesting when the caution flag flew when he darn near got upside down on the front straightaway for the banner. That kind of opened up a can of worms into a gray area. Who's that caution charged to?
I think it's charged. I think it's charged to the racetrack having banners up on the wall.
That's what I think too. That you can't charge that to Larson.
No.
I don't believe,
because the banner was already down when Larson hit the wall. It was already on the racetrack.
Right. So I think putting him to the back in that instance would not be the right call. It probably would not have been a popular call. One thing we know with the Chili Bowl and the shootout, you can't make everybody happy, and there's always going to be people crying. But in that particular instance, I think Zach Chappell, Matt Ward made the right call. It would have been a shame to take that away from him in that instance. Not his fault. It just so happened to come down off the wall when he got to it, and I think that falls upon the speedway. I had to stop and think if I had ever seen anything like that before.
Maybe we shouldn't put banners on the walls down low. Maybe decals would work better for NOS Energy Drink. I don't know, but maybe we shouldn't tie banners up on that portion of the racetrack. That's my thought.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Well, obviously you have to get your exposure to your wonderful supporters, and we can't do that event, either one of them, without the great supporters that we have. And I don't know. I mean,
I'm thinking decals instead of banners. Decals instead.
Say again, Kurt?
Maybe decals instead of banners that you tie up.
Maybe so, perhaps. That's not my department, but it's. I'm glad it didn't. I'm glad it didn't spoil his Chili Bowl. It could have been ugly. And then the first instance when the lappers checked up right in front of him, and he ended up monster trucking, I believe it was Brennan Crouch. Well, that was a close call as well. That was his first close call.
He said his engine stalled right there, and somehow it fired back up again. What do you make of that?
It surely did. I had a front row seat there watching that, and the race car ended up finally getting on. Well, when it got on its all fours, it was all but loaded up and about ready to burp out and puke, and kill. But somewhere or the other, he got his foot back in it just in time before it stalled. And, had that thing stalled, his chili bowl would have been out the window for sure.
And Larson thought he was going to flip it when he hit the wall. That's what his first thought was.
Well, he all but did. I mean, I still don't know how he didn't get upside down on that. I was standing there watching it, and I thought, how in the world did he get that thing back down on all fours? Pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. That boy, like I said a few minutes ago, just when you think that you've seen him do it all, just wait around for a few. He'll pull another trick up his sleeve, out of his sleeve, man. He is an unbelievable talent for the likes of which that we have not seen come along in many, many years. And it's just been a real treat to watch his journey, and I think that it's really cool that, he stays true to his roots. He absolutely loves being able to run open wheel. And, I think he had a really good time running the shootout, being able to run it with his son, Owen, for the first time. And life's good for Larson, man. He's just, you put Kyle Larson, you bring the addition of Kyle Busch. These guys have provided such a big shot in the arm for this event, both events. And, we're just grateful that they spare their time so that the fans that are our fans can watch them do their thing. A lot of guys have trouble being able to remain true to their roots and go back to their roots, but we're able to see these guys, show up and perform, and they do not disappoint. I thought Kyle Busch was a relative surprise. He not first time in a midget, and he ended up having a great heat race, having a great qualifier, but full well somewhere along the line of your chili bowl journey, you're going to hit hurdles, and he did. Wasn't able to get into the show, but it was pretty impressive watching him journey through. I think he's a fan now, and I think we'll start seeing him at more shootouts and chili bowls in the future.
There you have it, Scotty Cook joining us on Tuesday. Kirk, Monday we didn't have the show on Monday because Martin Luther King Day, the inauguration was going on. A lot going on Monday.
Yeah, we just thought we'd get a better audience on Tuesday than Monday.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to be back on schedule on Monday for Mostly Motorsports. Just want to remind everyone, you and I are going to the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints banquet today
at the Corner Cafe.
3 o'clock this afternoon, so we're looking forward to that. Stanley Kreisel is the defending champion of the POWRi Midwest Lightning Sprints. We're going to try to get him on our show on Monday, talk about his season.
And we're trying to get Blake Hahn on as well.
Blake made some news. He's committed to run the ASCS Tour next year, going for his 3rd championship. That story came out this week. So
I'm a little shocked by that, to be honest with you.
You can find that on our homepage.
Yeah,
right.
So anyway, we're going to try to reach out to Blake as well. Try to get him on the show, maybe. So anyway, we got that coming up on Monday. So you and I are looking forward to seeing Bob, Douglas, and all the crew down at Corner Cafe this afternoon.
All right. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Jay running the show back there at Sports Radio 810. Todd Surprise running the show here at RBN, the Race Boys Broadcasting Network. Don't forget, hour number 2, you can watch it exclusively on Facebook. You can watch it on YouTube, and you can watch it on RaceBoys.com. For Todd Surprise, for Kirk Elliott, I'm Scott Traylor saying thanks for joining us. We'll see you in hour number 2 coming up.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Thanks, my man.
Your
Appreciate it, bro.
family's comfort and safety are.
All right, we'll see you next week.
All right, man. Have a good week. Go Chiefs.
FA Heating and Air is here to help. We'll maintain and service your existing equipment and
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.
Spirit Specialty Sportswear in-house. We do all of the screen printing, all the embroidery. We do some vinyl. The other ad specialty items like your pens, magnets, notepads, calendars. You can actually buy that, build your business to make it larger. We have the largest screen printing process and the largest embroidery anywhere around in the area. We can do stuff all the way from your school clubs to sports teams, a professional look in the office. If you can imagine it, we can do it for you.
From the circle track to the drag strip to off-road racing, Rod End Supply has been keeping their customers at the front of the field since 1989. Whether you need rod ends, tubular rods, or specialty products, Bob Douglas and his Rod End Supply staff are always ready to help you with your needs. You can visit them on the web at rodendsupply.com or call them at 800-284-2902. That's 800-284-2902. Rod End Supply, keeping you at the front of the field.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Sabres 33 RLP. Let's go take a tour. Coming into this animal, we're going to take a trip back here to the feature of this trailer, the deck. Check it out. It's awesome. It's 4 by 10 feet. You can dance on this thing. Boom! Check it out. It's pretty nice. And then coming to the back of this thing, you got a 75-inch TV. It's huge. 60-inch fireplace. It's nice and big, keep you warm. Then you got an ottoman that converts into a table, if you will. Maybe some TV trays. Then this hide-a-bed that I'm pointing at, it comes out and folds into like a king-size bed with storage in the corner for all your linens. Great little addition to the trailer. Your dinette, of course. Then you're gonna come around to the kitchen with the tic-toc sink. It's got the spritzer and the waterfall and all that stuff. Residential style refrigerator. It's got the microwave and the oven that's residential as well. Big old pantry over here with motion detected lights, coffee bar, and then coming up to the bedroom, you'll have the bathroom first, nice and spacious with a seat in it for them ladies. And then we got the king size bedroom with washer dryer hookup. I'm telling you, this is a home run for a couples coach. Come and see me, Kyle Walker.
When Steve died, the outpouring of love was amazing. These dollars had come together to support us, and we realized, no, we didn't want to use them for us. We wanted to use them to help others.
The foundation has done so much for so many people. It helps any family that has somebody, whether it be a crew member or one of the drivers, that get hurt. We can help them to get through the situation.
I was injured in a non-wing sprint car accident that broke my neck and left me with a spinal cord injury. I was in the hospital 8 months, and that got really, really expensive. So having that extra help to help push me and my family forward was a big deal.
Yes, Steve's death is the reason the foundation exists, but it's Steve's life, and it's the lives of racers everywhere, is the reason we're able to do the work we do.
So we have a lot of folks come in interested in traveling for work. This is going to be a great option. Your Coachman Northern Spirit 2565 front kitchen. You have a nice wraparound full front kitchen here. Huge windows up top. Big 12-volt refrigerator. Lots of windows on the sides here. Great natural light coming in. You have your big TV over here on the swing arm bracket so you can kind of see it from any point in the room. Also have your bar stools here. Sit and eat your breakfast. In the bedroom, you're going to have a king-size bed in the slide-out. Lots of storage underneath that. Washer, dryer, hookup. Tons of storage with the drawers. Then you got your full bath across the back. When it comes down to a camper that you can get for 6,500 pounds and be under 30 feet long, this is an absolute home run.
Race fans, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum is open 7 days a week, year-round, for you to come in and check out all of the wonderful race cars on display in the museum. And our online store at sprintcarstuff.com is open 24 hours a day for you to check out everything that we have in stock for sprint car fans. Whether it's for a birthday, anniversary, or Christmas, sprintcarstuff.com has it all. That's at the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville.
Go harder, faster, stronger with Rod End Supply. Whether you are running industrial, farming equipment, or a race car, Rod End Supply has the assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products that will help you lead the field in performance. Our superior design means our rod ends last longer and perform better, giving you the edge on the track and saving you money. Contact Rod End Supply or order online today at rodendsupply.com. We don't just sell them, we race them. rodendsupply.com. Serving the racing community for over 30 years.
Hey everybody, this is Larry the Cable Guy. You are listening to RacingBoys.com, and if you're not, I swear to you, get in your truck or do something, but get the hell out of this country because you don't belong in it if you don't listen to these fellas.
It's time for America's most unique motorsports show, Track Talk, brought to you by Rod End Supply and the Power Ride Midwest Lightning Sprints. Here are the Racing Boys, Scott Traylor and Kirk Elliott.
Welcome back to Track Talk here on RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. Todd Surprise running the show for us here at RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. It's all brought to you by Rod End Supply, featuring the Power Eye Midwest Lightning Sprints. We're going to the banquet today, aren't we, Kurt?
We are. We're going to join up with the folks of the Midwest Lightning Sprints. Power Eye Midwest Lightning Sprints, our annual banquet at the Corner Cafe, not too far from where we're located. 3 o'clock this afternoon. Look forward to seeing
Riverside,
Bob Douglas.
Right? That's in Riverside.
Yeah. So it's close to the old, what used to be the Riverside Stadium, which was down the street from where we're going.
Hey, Kirk, you never went to Riverside, did you?
I only walked in that track one time before they
it was
tore
closed
it down.
up.
I never saw a race there, but I walked into the racetrack to look around before they tore it down. That was 1988. That's the only time I've been
How
there.
did you not go to Riverside?
Because I was working at another racetrack on a Saturday night. I was at Corning, Iowa every Saturday night. That's why I didn't go to a race at Riverside. I had to be at another racetrack.
Riverside, in my eyes, was maybe the best racetrack that ever lived in Kansas City, Missouri, to be honest with you.
And if you want to see some great history of Riverside Stadium, take a walk through the Red X store down there. And they've got a lot of great mementos of the old Riverside Stadium.
Hey, Kirk, I'm thinking that they need to build a new Riverside Stadium where the old Red X used to be.
Not going to happen, my
That's
friend.
not. How can they ever get the permits to make that happen?
You've got too many people walking their French poodles and their Labradoodles.
Never.
You'll never see a racetrack. Too rich.
I refuse to say the word never.
But that's a
But
never.
in this case, it's never.
Did you
going
see?
down.
Riverside needs a racetrack again.
Different kind of clientele now, my friend. It's a different world than Riverside. Did you seen the Red X? I went by the Red X on, what was the holiday? Well, no, the day before the big snowstorm. Holy moly. And also before Thanksgiving. The new Red X is like something that, have you been in it, Scott?
I've been in it. Did you see the mural up there on the wall?
But it's high end now. I mean, it's not like the old Red X. I mean, my dad, if he was still alive and I took him there, he'd been like, well, this ain't the Red X. This is not anything like the Red. You know what I mean? It's
They still got they got the liquor part of it in
yeah.
there.
But if you remember the old Red X, it was something to behold. Front door or the back door, depending on what you needed, right? Liquor
Right.
in the back and grocery and stuff
A
in
different
the front.
feel in the old store than the new one.
I just know there's a lot of people that live in the Briarcliff neighborhoods now and all that upper echelon. Look, there's some high-end salons up there now. It's
So
those,
you're saying Red X has gone high end?
oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't think you're going to find a lot of deals over
Well,
there.
if you want to see some history of Riverside Stadium,
Yeah, no,
just
they got
take
a lot
walk
of-
around.
I've got
the
a lot
store.
of video of Riverside back in the day.
Yeah.
Maybe I should put it up on my Facebook page.
I've seen some video back then. I've seen some old pictures.
You ought to
but
share-
Unfortunately, I never got to see a race at
Scott,
Riverside Stadium.
you belong to that. I sent you that link, and I know you belong to it because I looked at it on your computer, that Riverside History page. You ought to post some of your stuff on there because you belong. That means you can add anything to that page. You just go to that page, and you can upload photos or video or anything to that page. And I'm sure all those people from the Riverside, it's a Riverside History page on Facebook, and it's very interesting because they post stuff that I'd never even heard of before. And I mean, I'm not as old as a lot of people are, so they know a lot more of the history, but it's very cool to see some of the history that they post on that Facebook page.
Do you race a lot there? You race quite a bit at Riverside.
I did race quite a bit at Riverside.
How many features did you win?
I started in 1977. I started racing there in a street stock race. And to be honest with you, those were the best years of my life at Riverside Stadium.
I forgot. Did you win a feature at Riverside?
I never won a feature at Riverside. I won a B main.
You won features at I-70 and Lakeside.
I won a lot of features at Lakeside,
But not
and
Riverside. That was earlier.
I was
in
a
your
pavement
career.
racer, Kirk.
Yeah.
To be honest with you,
And that when you raced Riverside, that was early in your racing career.
right? I didn't have many. I didn't have a very good cars back.
There's
in
a
the
photo
day.
of the old Red X when it was underwater there.
It caught fire one time too, didn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
And they
pretty-
got pictures of those
Yeah, they do.
catastrophes inside the store as well. It's not only a grocery store, it's a museum. So it's worth checking out.
it is,
There's one other race banquet.
See there,
That's
That's your
Todd
car.
Mills right there.
See, that's the
Okay.
page I'm telling you, Scott. This is the page. You go to this page. This is Gary Brenner posted
No
this.
enclosed trailers back then.
But see, you go to this page right here,
A lot of open trailers.
and you
They were all open.
you joined this group already, Scott. You're part of it. So you just go to this part right here, Scott, and you create a post, and you can post anything you got from Riverside. And people, I'm sure I saw this last night. This is the photo I saw, the Smacks hamburger stand that they used to have in Riverside right there. I was a big Smacks hamburger fan back in the day.
Wow.
Did you ever eat Smacks?
Never did.
Did you ever go to Norm's?
No, I didn't. So like you said, when I found this page here, first thing I thought of was Scott because it showed a lot of old Riverside racing, and like I said, this is all. There's the old photo right there too. So like I said, if you were a big Riverside guy, definitely go to this Facebook page. It's very cool. It's
And
got
the title on the Facebook page is what?
Riverside, Missouri history.
I'm gonna look that over.
See
I've
that
not
right
seen
there?
that
It's
page
it's
before.
pretty cool. So
Cool.
but it's a group, not just a page. You can see stuff, but you can't contribute unless you join the page. But yeah, I was just down there just the other day cruising through Riverside, and if the old part's still there, where by the corner cafe and everything, that's still there. But boy, that new side where the park and the fountains and the dog walking, and it's pretty fancy over there.
Hey, I was going to mention there's one other. We talked about the Midwest Lightning Sprints banquet at the Corner Cafe today. There's one other banquet that's going on today, and it involves the United States Modified Touring Series and the USRA holding their annual awards banquet. That's going on at the Maristar Casino tonight. And Jim Chisholm will be honored as the 2024 USMTS Modified Champion, and Tyler Wolf is the USRA AMOD Champion. That'll be two of the big champions honored, and they'll also be handing out championship awards in USRA stock cars, B-mods, hobby stocks, late models, tuners, limited mods, and factory stocks. That's all going on at the Ameristar Casino tonight, so wish everybody well at that one. We had some racing earlier this morning, Scott. If you were tuned in live on Flow Racing at about, 5 o'clock in the morning? Saw the A main from night 2 of the Grand American Classic at the Sun Gold Stadium at Premier in Warrnambool, Australia. And Jock Goodyear, a lot of people have been talking about Jock Goodyear as the young and up-and-comer out of Australia. Well, he wins night 2, holding off James McFadden for the A main. That was after Jamie Veal won on Friday night. Now, the big money is on the line tonight. So if you want to watch that live, you're going to have to stay up in the middle of the night. Like from 1 until, 5 or 6 in the morning? That's when it's on live if you want to watch it live.
Take a nap after the show, and you'll be fine.
I'll probably watch the replay on Flow after I get up tomorrow morning. That's probably what I'll do. I probably won't stay up all night long watching that.
Right.
Or I won't be in shape to watch the Chiefs and the Bills. I want to be rested for that.
What do you think the score's going to be?
I don't know. I'm worried about this one, boys. I think the Chiefs got their work cut out in this one. What do you think?
I agree. I don't like the looks.
This is going to be a tough one.
Buffalo.
I'm not saying they can't win, but the Bills ain't been turning it over like they had been in the past.
Man, look at all those people in those chairs. Hold on.
The crowds out there in Australia are just incredible.
Look at this, Scott. Watch this video. This is crazy. Well, thanks to Flo for this video. It's on YouTube. But look at these people sitting in the. Reminds me of the Chili Bowl. You'll see it here in just a quick second. I'm amazed at the amount of.
They call this the Knoxville Nationals of Australia. That's
how
big
look
this
at that
event is. Look at the size of that crowd.
Wow.
And they come early. Chase Rodman, when he was on the show a couple of weeks ago, these Australian fans, they come early.
Yeah, he mentioned about how it
and
was.
stay late.
Yeah, and that they definitely like to have fun out there. So, and they drive the other way, right?
On the roads, yeah.
And on the racetrack, right? Don't they go?
No, they go normal on the racetrack.
I thought they raced the other direction.
Now they turn left.
Where was the other?
It's on the highways when they.
No, I know, but I thought we saw side of the road. I thought we saw a race somewhere once where they were racing the other direction.
That'd be pretty wild, wouldn't it? American driver going to
where
you have to go the opposite direction.
That's what.
How hard would it be to get used to that?
Yeah, that's what they need to do. If the Americans come down there and start whooping up on them, they need to swap their track and go the other way, and that way. Or put the steering wheel on the side. But no, it's pretty cool to see some of this video. And like you said, the video we're watching now is the free stuff that Flo put up, but it's on YouTube. But this is from 2 days ago, so this was posted 7 hours ago.
This would have been Friday night?
Friday nights.
Which would have been early Friday morning.
Yeah. Yep. So like you said, they haven't quite posted up the stuff that just finished not too long ago. So I'm sure they're putting all the graphics on it.
Yeah, like the local time there now is 2:16 a.m. Sunday morning.
Yeah. So
is around where they're at now. But anyways, just looking down through, there's not a whole lot of American drivers in Australia here. We got a few of them. If you go back to Friday night's events, we see Chase Rodman, Chase Randall is who I had. Chase Rodman on my mind.
Kerry Madsen was down there as well.
Yeah. He's an Australian.
Hey, Ben just said the super rods go the other direction.
That's it.
Down there. So I knew I'd seen a race where they went the other way because I was
Not
like.
the sprint cars.
No, but the super rods, which is cool. I mean, It's like the water goes the other way in the toilet down there.
Let's see how the American drivers.
It does. It circles the other direction.
It does?
Yeah, it's because they're on the opposite side.
That'd be hard to get used to.
Haven't you ever? There's some kind of like a thing where you drop the penny. There's some kind of a deal, and it goes one direction here and another direction in the other country.
That's crazy.
Hey, that's Wade right there. Did you see that?
Wade Auger is there. I
Yeah.
guess he was there, wasn't he? Chase Randall finished in 9th. I'm just going down through some of the American drivers. This was on Friday night. He was really the highest profile driver. They split the field in half, ran half on Friday night and half on Saturday. Cole Macedo did not finish the race, and he was really the only other American driver in Friday night show. Now we took a look at Saturday night, which has already occurred out in Australia. It was Garrett Williamson with a pretty solid third-place finish after coming from 18th. Garrett Williamson, 18th to 3rd. Earlier this morning, Corey Eliason finished in 4th. And as we look down through the field, those were the highest-profile American drivers that are in Australia. Riley Goodnow was out there, Knoxville driver. He finished in 13th place.
Hey,
but,
Kurt,
not a whole lot of American drivers
don't you
racing
think
in this
Garrett
event
Williamson is going to be a hell of a race car driver in his day? Don't you think?
Who's that?
Garrett Williamson.
Yeah, he's doing a great job.
He's doing a great job. Yep.
He's going to be full-time out there this year out on national tours. So Garrett Williamson.
Is he going to run with the World of Outlaws?
Yeah. There's a lot of rookies of the year going for the World of Outlaws this year. Last year's rookie was Buddy Kofoid. He's back to make another run. So we'll go down. Monday's show, we'll kind of go through who's going where. I don't have that list available right now, but the Outlaws are piling up some drivers to go for the Rookie of the Year honors. Cole Macedo is one of those guys, too, by the way, that's going to go for the Rookie of the Year. We're still waiting to see what Chase Randall is going to do. Just haven't seen a formal announcement yet of what he's going to do in 2025, but we'll get that all sorted out. Talk about it more on Monday's show. The other racing to talk about, the World of Outlaw late models were in action last night at Volusia Speedway Park. It turned out to be night one of the Sunshine Nationals because Thursday night's race was rained out. They've been dodging weather issues down in Florida just like they have everywhere else. And Ryan Gustin, the Reaper, coming up with an impressive victory last night, holding off Jonathan Davenport for the victory. Where is Bobby Pierce, you say? Well, he was running up in the top 3 earlier in the race, but he faded to 14th at the end of that run. Pretty unusual to see that.
Hey, Kirk, did you see that it snowed in Pensacola?
It did.
Right.
Down where the site of the Snowball Derby.
Right.
Snowball Derby site had snow.
Several inches of snow down there in Pensacola.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
In New Orleans, they were skating on the streets of New Orleans the other day.
Yeah, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, they're in Hilton Head, and they posted. So we're looking at this video. They have
snow there too, huh?
They had more snow than they've had in 7 years down there. So that's the beach in Hilton Head So this is normally where you kind of get away to kind of
snow on the beach
of Hilton Head, South Carolina. You know it's rough when their accumulation that's been growing. So my in-laws, they posted pictures, or my sister-in-law and brother-in-law, they posted a picture of a snowman that they built on the beach out of snow, not sand. So, and I follow the Destin, Florida cameras because my mom almost bought a house down there, and I got up that morning and they have white beaches out there. It was white, but it wasn't from the sand. It was from all the snow, and it's it's rough when you're flying down there. We had to de-ice 2 times at KCI when we were departing to California that day.
No way.
Yeah, They had to bring, and
Does that scare you a little bit when they come out with the de-icers?
They said that we're getting some ice forming on the wing, so we are going to go ahead and make another run. I was like, oh man, make 2 runs through it, right? I mean, my thought was, why are you going to just do one? Let's do two runs through that. But yeah, they come through there and they spray the whole thing, not just the whole thing gets. This big old machine comes dry. And it happened to me when I flew out of Cleveland once, and I flew home on a tiny plane. And let me tell you, that lake effect snow. They had about 12 inches of snow, and the ice was forming. And they had these big de-icers that you could drive underneath if you had the smaller planes, and then they had these other ones that they came by with these machines, and they hit us 3 or 4 times before we do it. And like you said, that makes you a little nervous when you're
de-ice in the plane. That makes you a little bit nervous, doesn't it?
Like you said, I closed the window. I don't want to see that.
You're just along for the ride.
I mean, what am I going to do, right? Like, you got nothing.
Right. You can't do anything about it.
I put the headbuds in, and turned on.
You just pray those people up there in the cockpit are making great decisions, right?
Did you see that? So we were in California, and we flew United, but they arrested a Southwest pilot as he was boarding the plane.
He was drunk.
He was drunk, and he was getting ready to make a pretty long flight. So good for the people that turned him in, and the people that smelled the alcohol in. But he wasn't just tipsy. He was
drunk.
I don't want that guy flying my plane in the ice. I'm just saying that. No thanks.
Can you let me off now?
Yeah. I'll get off at the next exit right here.
Right.
No, sir. You're here. Just settle down.
Well, all I know is I'm looking forward to this next few weeks, guys, because we actually got warm up here in the Midwest.
It's going to be warm next week.
Yeah. I mean, warm for us.
Hopefully all the snow will melt.
Absolutely. It's already started. So, I mean, this last night we had a lot of melted. Yesterday we had some, and I was going to go to the car wash yesterday. Tried to, rolled in. Everybody had the same idea I did. So I had to wait till today.
I went and washed the old Equinox, and the transmission locked up on it, didn't it?
On your way to the Chili Bowl.
On the way to the Chili Bowl.
Came back.
And I drove the truck down.
Yeah. But it melted, and everything's fine with the Racing Boys Equinox. That's
right.
Good news.
Yep.
Glad that was the case. But getting back to that late model race last night, Nick Hoffman looked like he might have had a good shot at that. He and Ryan Gustin were battling it out, but I think Hoffman got turned around. He turned around on his own and hit the wall.
All right.
So tough break for him. Good night for the Reaper.
Let's bring up Ryan Ragland. Ryan, how you doing?
Happy New Year, guys. I know I'm a little bit late, but I got to get my first call of the year into you.
Happy New Year to you.
Yep.
Good to hear from you.
I am so sick of this cold. I'm ready for the snow to go away like you guys are.
I get this call from you, Ryan, about 2 weeks before they moved into or right about the time they moved into the Chili Bowl to put the track down. And you text me, said, man, this is cool. I'd never been here before. Looking at the Expo Center now before they put the track in.
Yeah, that place is huge. They had some kind of, implement horse, farmer kind of, I can't remember what they called it. They had it on their marquee out front, and they were just clearing it out. And I was down at Broken Arrow for a bowling tournament, and I thought, well, hell, I'm going to go by the Expo and just check it out. And parked along that north side and just kind of poked my head inside that gate where the cars go up the ramp and everything. And then I ended up driving around. I'm like, good night. It's like a city within its own right.
Bigger building than you thought, wasn't it?
Then you start thinking about the logistics of getting the trailers in and everything. And man, that's a slick pig they got running for the Chili Bowl and the Tulsa Shootout. That's
it's organized chaos is how
they made it all happen again. They pulled it off again. And the thing that struck me about, you said you were looking inside the ramp that they moved the cars down. And I was going to mention that Matt Ward posted videos after they took it all down and what it looks like now. The seats are all gone. The track's gone.
They have to get out of there in 24 hours because they got a boat show going on.
Exactly. Starting Monday, I think it is.
Right.
So they have to. It's all spotless clean now. It looks a lot different now than it did a week ago.
1 year.
And I appreciate Matt Ward for posting those videos, not only of the setup as they're putting it in, but he also took the videos as they were taking it out and what it looks like now. So thanks to Matt Ward for doing that.
Yeah, 1 year they cut our cables. Remember, we were trying to get everything up, and we'd been working. We went home and came back, and our cables that they run under the track in the dirt, they were like, "Look, we got to get this track out of here. It's got to go." So
they cut our cables.
They just cut our XLR cables and just cut it all in.
Right now, as we speak, and this was as of Tuesday, the track's gone. All the seats are out of there. It looks totally different now. So anyway, Ryan.
And to be able to do that just comes from years and years of trial and error and knowing what you're doing and what works and what doesn't work, and having, the same people that come in and say, hey, we all know what we're doing. Let's go get it done. So you get to the point where, you're making your plans ahead of time. All right, everyone meet here at this time. You guys know what you're doing. Trucks are doing this. Loaders are doing this. Workmen are starting to take this apart and move this out. And it's an organized chaos, and it just gets it done.
They usually use a lot of the same people to put the track in and take the track out.
Yeah. Same people. They know what they're doing.
You know what you're doing.
Absolutely, they do. So the big question in dirt late model racing over this past week, are there too many races, Ryan Ragland? Are there too many races and not enough of an off season?
Can you have too many races?
Some people are complaining about it.
I mean that facetiously, but I kind of get what you're getting to. Obviously more races means more money to be spent, and that just gets to the point where guys get to pick and choose where they're going to go and what they're going to do. And I think dirt late model right now is getting to be, at the highest point where it's been in a long, long time, and I just think people are trying to capitalize on it.
What'd you think about Ryan Gustin winning last night?
If he had that wasn't an easy walk for him. That track had about as much character as Volusia's had in a long time. They even tried to cut down the berm after the 602 feature, or I think it was the last chance, whichever it was, and they had the last chance qualifiers for the Roll of Outlaws, and then I think they brought out the 604s. Then when they brought out the super late models, that berm was just back like it was at the Chili Bowl. And Nick Hoffman, Gustin got around Nick Hoffman and had to check up for a lap car, and Hoffman had to get on his binders, and he spun and, got up in the marbles and stopped, and Gustin got lucky. I think like you said, if he didn't have the lead and was able to get that high line coming out of 4, he probably wasn't going to win it. Being your starting position was huge.
Right.
And, man, that thing, he's got that new crew chief, and he said he's really liking it. He said this thing's driving like it never has before. And if that's the case early with a little bit of luck, I think Gustin's going to be a player this year.
What was going on with Bobby Pierce? He was size third, faded way back there. What did he end up, 14th?
Something had to have broke, because I'm watching him, and there was about 3 laps where he's getting into one, and you could just see he's still turning left, and the car's just pushing bad.
He started 4th and ended up running 14th.
Yeah, he got up. I think he got up as high as second a little bit, second or third, and I believe something broke, because he just, like I said, he was pushing in the corner, couldn't get it to turn, and I think maybe the track changed a little bit for him where it kind of loosened up a little bit. But, yeah, that's not a Bobby Pierce race. I believe something happened to the car, and he just kind of wrote it out. I'll tell you the guy to watch out for if he keeps this up is Cody Overton.
Yeah.
I think he came in for like 23rd or something like that and finished third or something like. I mean,
yes,
he took advantage of the cautions for sure.
You know, it was a big deal for Ryan Gustin to beat Jonathan Davenport, wasn't it?
Not only that, but to combat getting an overheated motor. Davenport said in the post race, he said he pulled up to Gustin and saw how bad it was steaming during the caution. And I'll tell you what, if that temperature wasn't any higher, Gustin probably would not have made it. But yeah, when you're ahead of Davenport and you can keep him in check behind you, you're doing pretty good. Because there was a time where he was like a half second, and then the next lap, Davenport must have missed a corner or something or whatever, and he's a second and a half behind Gustin. And yeah, I think Davenport's might be on a little bit of a mission this year. He's been down he's been down in Davenport stats, or as you want to say, or whichever.
Gustin's car was puking a lot of fluid, wasn't it?
I didn't think he was going to make it to the end. I'll be honest.
That thing was steaming like a locomotive coming through town, whatever that big locomotive. That thing was, and I sat there and I watched, and I'm like, good Lord, it's only like 20-some degrees down there. That thing's overheating. And it makes you wonder if something kind of got caught in got caught underneath the nose and kind of started blocking the radiator a little bit, because no one else really had that problem. And it was funny. In the post-race, Gustin said he looked over at Cooney and he pointed down, asked him if he wanted him to come in, and Cooney said, nope, run her till she goes.
Right.
And no more after the checker, he comes for the cool down lap, and he's about ready to pull in, and there it goes. It kind of let go. So, hey, if you're going to win, at least you got the money to pay for a new motor, right?
Right.
Tim McCready, who's a huge Bills fan, we won't hold that against him.
Rich people have the money to buy a new motor.
Yeah, they got the bullets. They got the bullets they can spare. T-Mac, he's a Bulls fan, but that's okay. We still love Tim.
Yeah.
He started 17th, ends up in 5th. That's a pretty strong start in his new ride.
Yeah, earlier I think it was in the West, in Arizona or New Mexico. I mean, I can't remember if it was there that he ran a little bit. It looked like they were still trying to kind of figure out, the new team and everything. And yeah, he was looking pretty strong. And I can't think you're going to hold T-Mac back too long. He looked good on the high side. Of course, it locked down, and you really weren't able to do much on the inside outside of the restarts. But for him to come up and have a good start, I think that's good for that team to have a little bit of momentum, just to kind of fight through a few things that they need to get figured out. And I think T-Mac's going to be back in the running again.
Ryan, we can't thank you enough for calling in. We appreciate you doing so. And we always appreciate the work you do for RacingBoys.com, just so you know.
Well, it's always fun, and we've got Humboldt with the Roll of Outlaws and High Limit over at 81 and Roll of Outlaws at 81 with the sprint cars, and who knows what else I'm going to try to hit this year. So I'm going to grab some more stuff for you guys, and appreciate you guys for giving me a chance and opportunity to do that stuff.
Good to hear from you, Ryan. Happy New Year.
All right. You too, guys. Take care.
All right.
One other note, Tyler Bruning won that opener of the Lucas Oil Late Model Series. He drives for Skyline Motorsports. Mike Marlar is his teammate. Marlar was there last night. He won a last chance qualifier last night. But now I'm wondering, Marlar doesn't appear as though he's going to run the full Lucas Oil Tour, because he was not at the season opener for the Lucas Oil Series. I'm thinking Marlar's going to run full World of Outlaws this year.
Maybe.
Didn't see that coming.
Hey, Kirk, we got another interview from Shane Golobic.
Part 2. We had 2 parts to both Shane and Scotty Cook. Shane Golobic is a really good interview. We wanted to play as much as that as possible. Let's go with it. From Shane Golobic, the third-place finisher at the Chili Bowl, Part 2. You're mostly wing sprint car racers. You only run these midgets once a year, huh?
Yeah. We usually try to hit the Hangtown 100 race when the USAC National Sprint or Midgets come out to Placerville late in the year in November. So usually that's about the only outdoor race we'll do. This year it happened to be that it rained out that race. So yeah, literally these midgets had just sat for a year and they hadn't run since Chili Bowl the year before. And none of our drivers ran midgets at all elsewhere at all throughout the year either. So it was a little bit of a process on us all trying to knock the rust off, both ourselves and the race cars. And it just was pretty cool that we were able to knock it off pretty quick and get going and have a really good week.
So now you focus in on the Wing 410 sprint cars. What's the plan here in 2025 with the sprint cars?
It's going to be a similar schedule to what we've been doing the last few years. Just hit and miss as many of the big races as we can out on the West Coast. Try and definitely hit all the outlaw shows and all the high limit shows when they come out here to the West Coast. And maybe we'll sneak off and do a little bit of traveling here and there for a week or two at a time, but nothing major. So yeah, it'll be a lot of West Coast sprint car racing on our little bull rings out here. And looking forward to a really good year with our NOS Energy Drink 17W. And now it's time to finally start working on those things and get them ready to go for the year.
You race a lot of bull rings out there. Is that kind of a specialty to you guys? So you like racing the smaller racetracks?
Yeah. I mean, that's all we have out here, really. So we don't really have a choice. That's what we get to race on. But yeah, it's probably something that helps us all a little bit when we go to Chili Bowl. We're used to those big curbs and slick racetracks with big curbs and even curbs ramped up on the wall. That's kind of right up our alley with our driving styles out here in California. So I think that helps us a little bit when we go in that building. But yeah, we have a lot of short tracks, and it looks like maybe we're going to get Calistoga Speedway back this year. So we're excited to get back there. That's the only half mile we have out here, and it's been closed the last few years. So we're looking forward to get back there. But yeah, the majority of it is all short track, slick tracks with big curbs. So we have a lot of fun out here.
The Chili Bowl race conditions were just excellent all week. Do you agree with that? I mean, it was a phenomenal racing all week long.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. They did a great job with the racetrack all week. I mean, that's quite the task to ask for a good racetrack 6 nights in a row, and they did it. I mean, there was never a sniff of rubber. The racetracks were slick. They were wide, big curbs on the top, a bottom that was usable to be able to make moves. So multiple lanes of racing and. Yeah, great racing all week. I definitely have no complaints whatsoever. The only thing is now that they've got the racetrack figured out and they've got it to where it doesn't take rubber, I'd love to see another 15 laps added back onto the feature.
Yeah, I think one of the reasons why they cut it down to 40 because it did rubber down a year ago. They certainly didn't want that to happen again, did they? But we didn't have even a cent of that, did we?
Yeah, no, it was pretty cool to see how the track lasted every night. And I mean, we never even wore down any tires all week with any of our cars on any of the nights. So, as a crew chief and as a team kind of manager or whatever, it's great to not have to be bolting new tires on every time. We were able to use the same tires multiple times throughout the week. And, it wasn't hard on stuff and the racing was great. And, I think they did an awesome job.
A couple of guys got busted for tire doping a little bit. They were checking those race tires for doping them, weren't they?
Yeah. I felt like our cars got checked about every time they came off the track, which is good. I mean, it may have been a big playing factor in why the track was so good is they were really cracking down on people doping tires and kind of from what I've heard, it makes the track last a lot longer without having all those chemicals in the tires and transferring rubber to the racetrack. So yeah, I mean, if that's the case, maybe they did themselves a great service there with really cracking down. It just made the track all that much better.
What else did they check through the week? They were coming down pretty hard on the tech, weren't they?
Yeah. Every night, the top 5 from every night got put into the tech area, which is right down the center of the main aisle in the building, so everybody could see what they were doing. And they would take multiple tire samples from each rear tire, and they were checking ignition boxes for traction control, and they were checking head clearance on drivers for safety and checking seat belts and stuff for kind of the first time they've ever done that as well. So yeah, the tech stuff was definitely much more strict this year, and I think that was only beneficial to the whole week for sure.
Well, congratulations on the great week, Matt Wood Racing. Matt, got to be pretty proud of what's going on there. But, man, you didn't win the race, but, boy, you had put 3 cars in the top 5. That's pretty awesome stuff.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm very, very proud of what we did and very happy for Matt. He deserved it more than anybody I know, that's for sure. He's been a huge supporter of midget racing, both on the promoter side, the car owner side. Nobody deserved it more than him in that building, and so it was a really cool week. It's definitely a week we'll never forget.
I think so. A week to never forget for Shane Golobic after a third-place finish, after his teammates finished 4th and 5th right behind him. I mean, can you imagine what they're thinking about, Matt Wood, and how that team performed over the course of a week? They won 1 preliminary night, had 2 second-place preliminary runs, and all 3 of those cars that automatically qualified for Saturday night's A main finished the top 5.
He finished 2nd, 3rd, and 4th.
3rd, 4th, and 5th.
3rd, 4th, and 5th. Yeah.
I mean, that's incredible. So great having Shane Golobic on. He's now they put the midgets away, and they're focused in on the 410 sprint cars.
If you want to hear that whole episode, that's episode 344.
Hey, we need to get into the Scotty Cook deal.
Part 2, Scotty Cook. So we had a lengthy interview on Mostly Motorsports on Monday as well with Scotty Cook. Let's hear part 2 of that conversation. Outside of Buddy Kofoid, who made a little bit of a run up through the field, anybody who didn't make the transfer out of the preliminary nights had start at the back, like Bell and some of the other guys back there. They had trouble slicing their way up through the field there in that race, didn't they?
Well, Buddy got wheeled. I mean, blatantly wheeled out of his preliminary A main event. He was running very well, and probably best that I don't remember who it is, but somebody put the big nasty right rear on him, and he had to go to the back. We had a tough break. You know, those guys will tell you, I'm sure, that to a driver, to a man, that you know, the journey that is the Chili Bowl in your qualifying efforts on your qualifying night, just the hurdles that you have to jump to go through the process, just to even get yourself into the A main, is unparalleled to any other thing that they do all season long. It's probably in all of open wheel racing, probably the toughest cut to get into an A main event. You know, so much can happen. It's such a crapshoot. Takes a little luck, takes a lot of skill. And if you've got both of those in your pocket, you might have a shot, you know, but you can't count on it. And it's just a free for all, and you never know what's going to happen when you get down to the bottom of the ramp.
Well, Larson admitted himself that had he not won that preliminary race on Monday night, he wouldn't be standing there as the winner. And how he won that race on Monday night, there was a crack. Bernal was going to win. Shane Golobic was going to win that race. He was coming around for the checkered flag, and then we had a crash to set up a green-white checker restart. That's how Larson was able to win Monday night. Then he draws the number 1 on the pole shuffle. All of those things, he had a little bit of luck playing his way too, did he?
There's no doubt about it. I mean, just as I explained, it takes a little luck and a lot of skill, and he obviously has the skill, but, you know, he obviously had a little lady luck riding with him this year as well, and avoiding the 2 accidents in the A main event that could have sidelined him, and then to be able to pull that 1 Plinko chip for the shuffle. When I saw him pull that 1 out of there, I thought, well, thanks for coming, boys. it's all but over now.
And if
It'll
Dason
take a
Pursley, if
tall
they'd
feat
had
to
just a
knock him
little
off the
bit more
mountain.
fuel in that car for Dason Pursley, he would have likely had been on the pole because he was running those 11-second lap times in that pole shuffle. He was headed towards the pole, was he not?
Yeah, no doubt about it. He had an amazing effort in that pole shuffle. He advanced. He was able to stay out on the track 2 or 3 rounds, and he was on his way to the pole. And what a phenomenal young talent that boy is, let alone how talented he is and how good he's become. Just a golden kid. Man, what a great kid that Mr. and Mrs. Clint Pursley have raised. And he has got so much talent. And, you know, he doesn't take any day for granted with what he's been through. A long road to recovery to get back healthy after a nasty crash sidelined him. And, you know, there was a while that we didn't know if we'd ever get to see him, let alone race again, but walk normally again. And, well, it's been a long journey for that kid. And I think that any success that he finds from here forward is absolutely just due, because he's worked so hard for it, and he's just a super kid. And I honestly didn't think that he had anything at all for Larson, but it was somewhat refreshing to see him be able late in the race to get up in there and at least size him up and throw one haymaker at him, but it was all for naught. You know, it was a little too late at that point. And I think that Dason could have started on the pole, and Kyle still would have found a way to get around him. Who knows? But a trained eye would maybe like to venture to guess so, but that's just how good Larson is, you know. With Pursley on the point the way he was all week long, it just takes that little bit extra to beat Kyle Larson. I mean, he is so unbelievable, no doubt about it.
Well, Larson was running the loose stuff up high, but so was Dason Pursley. He was making it work up there in the loose stuff up high.
Yeah, they kind of had a little modified berm down there in 1 and 2, and 3 and 4 was built up very nicely as well. And I heard some people complaining about that, the way they had the cushion built up to the wall this year. But the way we saw Larson run that thing like Goggles Poisano through 1 and 2 at the shootout, everybody kind of licked their chops a little bit in hopes of seeing him try to pull that off during the Chili Bowl as well. And he didn't do it as dramatically, but he did get up in there and do it. And Dason got up in there and tried it as well. And, boy, anybody that knows anything about that, it takes absolute precision on the wheel if you're going to flirt with the cushion that's that gnarly. It takes one little wheel flip, and you're all but out of the ballpark. So that is way more difficult than anyone would ever believe, to try to climb up on there and utilize that berm the way them boys were doing. And it was very, very fascinating to watch.
Hey, Scotty, we just had Shane Golobic on. I mean, what an effort for Matt Wood Racing, and he had a hand in the 3 of the top 5 finishers. He was third ahead of Ryan Bernal and also Landon Brooks, who won the Tuesday night preliminary round. Outside of that big story, what are some of the other things that popped out to you during the Chili Bowl?
Well, you know, I mean, I think just to have Kyle Busch in addition to that, not that he made the show, but, you know, to see him compete and showcase his talents. And, you know, I can't pinpoint any one person that stood out to me, but the one thing that stands out to me, that when that show's over, when that event is over every year, it's just a firm reminder of how much god-awful talent there is across the country. And there are so many very talented drivers that enter that building every year for a shot of winning a little gold statue about 1.5 feet tall. And it's just the amount of talent that we get to see. And I have people ask me all the time, with the amount of travels that I occur, what's the best racing you see all year? And I don't even take a breath before I respond Chili Bowl Nationals. You see the best racing there at the Chili Bowl than you see anywhere and everywhere all year long. That's what makes it such a hot ticket, you know.
We love the Chili Bowl, and this might rank up amongst the best weeks at the Chili Bowl we've ever seen. The track conditions were excellent all week long. The racing was phenomenal, and it was just a great, great show in Tulsa, Oklahoma this year for both the Shootout and the Chili Bowl. So we put a wrap on that, and it's all positive this year, Scott. The Chili Bowl was tremendous.
I want to give a shout out to Kelly, who's listening in from Central Point, Oregon.
Welcome.
Yep.
To everybody who's tuned in, no matter where you are. It's cold everywhere, but I guess it's warming up, so we can all be optimistic now, right, Todd? It's going to warm up.
It's going to be a good day. That's how I look at it.
It's going to be a
I'm gonna
great day.
Go home and take a little nap, and get up and maybe work outside. You're surprised how much stuff accumulates around your house when you haven't been around your house in, 7-8 days because it's so cold, I looked outside and there's stuff blown up against and things, I was like, well, I got some work to do outside. So, I think it's going to warm up today, and I think we're going to be back on schedule. Everything should be normal next week. Back on the regular, mostly motorsports on Monday, and we're going to have a couple good guests.
It's up to 56 degrees in Daytona Beach
How
right
about that?
now.
See, you're already at almost 60 degrees down there, guys.
The Rolex 24 Hours of Daytona.
That's right, starting up.
Gets underway today.
That's
Finishes
always-
up tomorrow.
I always tune
looking
in
forward to
about
that.
like 2 a.m. for some reason. I wake up and it's on, and I watch it.
Hey, Kirk, did the High Limit announce they're going to race at Lakeside Speedway?
Yeah, they're going to be there during when the NASCAR Cup weekends taking place in May. And for those of you that live close to where we're at in the Kansas City area, they'll also return to Lucas Oil Speedway and Lake Ozark Speedway. They'll not be at I-70 Speedway this year.
Why is that?
I think a lot of it has to do, and we had Casey Schumann on here a few weeks back. I think a lot of it has to do with changing the racetrack. They're shortening the racetrack. We don't know what the schedule is of making that all happen. Weather's not been cooperative, and there's some other things that had delayed the reconfiguration and the shortening of I-70 Speedway. So I just don't think High Limit wanted to put something on
Race
the schedule
on a
with
small track.
uncertainty about what the racetrack's going to be.
Yeah, they'll race there. They're just like you
come back.
said. I just think it's too.
They'll come back.
They wasn't able to get that track built and fixed up over. We're looking at the 20 for 25 schedule right now. They're on the screen. So
they'll open up in Las Vegas in March, which that's a little bit different change for the High Limit series this year. If you remember, a year ago they opened up down in Florida and then moved their way back east. But you see Lakeside right there in column 2, and so they'll be there for, I think, one night this year, not 2 nights, right?
Yeah, just the one. 10 and 11 for Lakeside. Lakeside's 10th and 11th.
So there is 2 nights
Yeah.
at Lakeside.
Yes, sir.
So Lake Ozark Speedway and Lucas Oil Speedway are the other locations.
They're going to be coming from the East Coast right to Lakeside. They'll be racing Pennsylvania, and then they're driving straight to Lakeside. So that's unless there's going to be another race between. I don't think so, because that's the 10th and 11th.
They'll be at 81 Speedway the night before Lakeside Speedway, right?
Path.
That's it.
Path Valley. Yeah.
Tri-City Speedway, Illinois, after Lakeside.
Mm-hmm.
Then you see going down through the listing there. The
I was looking
weekend
at
late
it wrong there.
June,
So, yeah.
they'll be at Lake Ozark Speedway in the middle of the week, just like they were last year, and then that weekend
Yeah, there you go.
at Lucas Oil Speedway.
I was off. I was looking at the different order. So, yeah, you're right. You're correct. 2
And,
nights.
of course, they'll be at Eldora Speedway. That probably the biggest event will be the
They're going to take a
Joker's
night off.
Jackpot.
They're going to take a night off between 81 and Lakeside Speedway.
So they'll end the season in Texas.
Now, as far as the World of Outlaws are concerned, if you want to see them, you live close to Kansas City, but go to Knoxville. They're going to be there in April. They're going to return in June, and then, of course, the Nationals in August. We were hoping that they'd be at US 36 Raceway, and they thought they had a date solidified in late March. It was going to be on a Sunday night this year, and Outlaws officials are a little bit concerned about what kind of a crowd they're going to draw on a Sunday night in March. And weather is going to be an issue that time of the year. Not coming to US 36 Raceway, the World of Outlaws, and that surprised even the Franks family. You know, after we lost Mike Franks, he had that all set up, and we thought the World of Outlaws were coming back.
Are you a little shocked by that, Kirk?
Say again?
Are you a little bit shocked by that?
I am, because I was told pretty specifically by Vince Franks and the other folks up there that they were coming back, and
even,
I'm sure
even Brad Sweet said that I think that he acted like they thought the High Limit would be back. Remember,
High Limit loved to be there.
Yeah, we talked to him the week we found out about Mike Franks passing, and he said he didn't know how that was going to affect everything, but his condolence. But yeah, we're looking at the schedule here.
Maybe High Limit Racing goes to US 36 Raceway. You know how Brad Sweet feels about it. He'd love to go back to US 36 Raceway.
Absolutely.
So that may be an option. But if you want to see the World of Outlaws, I think you're going to have to go to Knoxville to see it, which will be there anyway. But
we'll
that's
be
the way
there.
It works.
The Racing Boys will be there.
You could go to Lawton, Oklahoma, which isn't, not a monster drive if you're from Kansas City.
That's south of Oklahoma City.
Yep, and then Wichita, Kansas, which will...
Yeah, and 81 Speedway is, 3 hours away from where we're at
I guess
right now?
Pevely, Missouri might be your...
That's about 4 hours away.
Yeah, so that's...
So there are options for you. You just got to drive a little
Speedway.
ways to get there.
Right there's your options, guys. So if you're wanting some World of Outlaw action, it
It's
will be weird,
opening
though,
up
not having them
soon.
in town, though, this year. They've always been a staple.
Pull that up to the top of the page there. The World of Outlaws opens up at Volusia very soon,
Yes, sir.
February 5th.
It's so fast that you can't believe that it's like February 5th. Look at the date today, and then you realize those guys are actually shaking cars down now, right? Not just like a date on the calendar. That's
Now,
close.
the World of Outlaws itself may, let's see, you're looking at the sprint car schedule. Yeah, Volusia on February 5th. So that's not too far away.
I'd love to go back down to Florida.
Tuesday, February 4th is the move-in day. So like you said, it's here. We're already week number 2, February 3rd through February 8th, dirt car, UMP modifieds, and World of Outlaw sprint cars. So
Very fast half-mile racetrack, Volusia Speedway Park.
All right, thanks everybody for tuning in to Track Talk here on Sports Radio 810 WHB and RBN, the Racing Boys Broadcasting Network. For Todd Surprise, for Kirk Elliott, I'm Scott Traylor saying thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week right here on Track Talk.
jumped up on me. Oh shit, I played the wrong video. Damn. That's all right. Let me do something here.
Rod End Supply is involved with a variety of motorsports as well as industrial applications with many different types of products. Since 1989, Rod End Supply has provided superior products priced competitively. Whether you're racing at the circle track or drag strip, rock climbing, or going off-road, Rod End Supply has an assortment of rod ends, radius rods, and specialty products to keep your equipment moving. Rod End Supply's experienced staff is ready and willing to help you with your needs. Their promise is to continue to provide a superior product with superior service so you can stay in front of the field no matter what it is. To learn more, go to rodendsupply.com.